Stash stats, stash stats. Oh man, it's really hot in here. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm MC and I love tracking stats for my yarn stash. If you are new here, we have been on this journey for well over a year now. I am on a stash journey and it is not necessarily stashing down, but it is just stashing for joy. I want to create a stash that makes me super happy, fills me with inspiration, and I don't really care what number I end up with in my yarn stash and fiber stash, which I'm also tracking, by the way. I don't care what number I end up with. I just want to be happy with it, and I want to surround myself with things that inspire me. So far, that has looked like bringing my number of skeins down, but there have also been several times where that number has shot up as well and then kind of come back down slowly but surely. We have been doing updates every other month to track my yarn and fiber around here, and if you need a little recap, here's where we started 2025. I had 77 skeins totaling 10,241 grams and 26,139 yards in my stash at the start of 2025. Now, I count a skein as a thing of yarn, so one skein, but also a mini is a skein. It is a unit of yarn. That is how I count my skeins, but I have also started tracking the grams and the yards because that helps me kind of balance things out so that a 100-gram skein and a 20-gram skein aren't on the same level. Now, in terms of fiber, this is a lot easier to track because we're just going with ounces. I had 45.3 ounces of fiber in my stash at the beginning of the year. Now, what happened in March and April? This might be a quicker video than most because well, I was traveling a lot during that time, and I have been on this weird journey that I didn't even mean to get on, where I have only been working on a couple projects at a time, like sometimes even only one project at a time, and I don't know how I got on this train. I don't know how to get off this train. I don't know what's happening, but it's where we are right now at this phase of my life. So let's jump in to yarn stash. Oh my god, I can't say it right now. Yarn stash stats. Yarn stats. Wow. Let's jump into yarn for March. All right, March was a little bit boring in the yarn ins and outs sphere. Basically, everything that came in also went out in March. So here's what happened. First, I brought in a skein of tall decaf cappuccino on my For Sure fingering base. I just dropped this on the floor so it might have cat hair all over it, but I am making a pair of my percolated socks for myself. So that is one skein in, one skein out for March. Then I also I stole some yarn from my stock from my new neon collection, and I stole one skein of Power Surge, which is this pink, and one skein of What's Up, which is the yellow, to make my new Shaka bralette design. So 2 skeins in, 2 skeins out. So that's all that came in the month of March. That's it. Easy peasy. So we had 3 skeins that came in the month of March. Now, what went out is those 3 skeins, plus I decided to sell my Beetlejuice spin. Now, I don't have it here, obviously, with me to show you because I already sold it, but it was a lot of yarn. It was a 30-day Halloween countdown from the Little Wolf Knits of fiber, 1 ounce a day of fiber, and I spun the whole thing, and made yarn, and I decided I didn't want to use it. I decided to sell it. So that was 4 skeins out. Now, if we look at grams and yardage, I forgot to say that for the ins for March, 3 skeins in, 300 grams. It's really not that exciting. And then it totaled 929 yards that came in. The Beetlejuice handspun was gigantic. It was just shy of 2,000 yards on its own. And it was, that can't be right. Okay, I figured it out. I had an error in my grams, and it was making it look like I had an insane amount of grams for the Beetlejuice spin. So anyway, it was just shy of 2,000 yards, and it was 785 grams. So for my out in March with yarn, I had 7 skeins go out, which was 1,085 grams and 2,885 yards. Now, let's move in to April. April was also kind of a quieter month because I was traveling for almost all of April. Actually, I'm realizing that April's not over. Oh my gosh. Today is April 29th that I'm filming this. I planned this poorly. Today is April 29th, which means I can't cast on anything new for the rest of the month. How many days are left in the month? Is April a 30 or 31 day? Okay, it's a 30 day. It's a 30 day. So I can't cast on anything new today or tomorrow. I mean, I can. It's not the end of the world, but I'm going to try really hard not to. I'm going to try to focus on what I already have. Okay, focus, MC. Let's focus. In April, I brought in a couple of different things. Firstly, I brought in one more skein of my What's Up colorway because of something I'm going to show you in a moment. And then my darling husband brought home some yarn for me from Hawaii. So this is, come on, no, my face isn't there. You can focus. I can still see the box. It's like trying to find my eyeball. This is from Ohana Fiber Mill on the Big Island. So I got 1 skein of this worsted weight, which is only 78 grams and 150 yards, but I'm still counting it as 1 skein. Then I finished a spin, and I can't find the other skein. There it is. This is my Upsurge spin. This was Upsurge on Corriedale by Three Waters Farm. And I finished this up in April and decided that I want to keep these skeins. So I did finish another spin in April, but I've decided I'm going to sell those, so they don't come into stash, so they just don't count because they're already in my going to sell this bin to be listed on the website. So that's it. That's all that came in April is these 2 handspun skeins, 1 skein from Hawaii, and I stole 1 more skein from my stock. So 4 skeins in, totaling 378 grams and 856 yards. Now, what went out in April? First things first, I cast on, oh no, I'm ripping stuff up. I cast on a new design, which has ends and stuff everywhere and needs to be blocked. But this is a new design that is not quite done yet, even though it kind of looks like it, it's not quite done. So I need to finish this up, but I used 3 skeins of Copper Penny from Pearl and Clover Yarn Company. There's string everywhere. So I used 3 skeins of that. Those are gone out of my stash. And then I used my other skein of What's Up to make this, which I'm not going to tell you what this is just yet. You might be able to guess if you know a lot about my patterns. But this is what's up on my Doda DK, and I'm almost done with this new design. And yeah, that is, so basically I had the first skein that I used for just the contrast color on the Shaka bralette, and then I added in another skein to get this going. So that is two skeins of that total. One technically came out in March, one came out in April. And then I decided, after I came home from Hawaii, I kind of had a little bit more clarity. I missed my stash so much. I missed the yarn closet. Like, one of the first things I did was to come in here and just kind of like spend some time in my office and like touch all my stuff again and love on it. And I really felt like I had made some decisions about some yarn that I wasn't sure of in the past. And so I decided, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I pulled out 4 skeins to destash. So 2 of them were indie dyed yarn, and then 2 of them were hand spun that I'm going to list for sale. So 4 skeins destashed in the month of April, and I feel really good about letting them go. It feels nice. I feel like they were ones that I was just kind of like back and forth on for so long, and they were ones that I maybe was hanging on to for some other reason. Like, I felt like I was obligated because of, I don't know, I bought it here, or this was the first hand spun I did with this and whatever. And I felt like I was ready to let those made up obligations go. So in April, I had 8 skeins leave my stash, and that totaled 875 grams and 2,607 yards. So let's talk fiber really quick. This is going to be a super quick one, and then we will go over the final totals for everything at the end. In March, nothing came in. That's it. Nothing came in March for fiber. No change. And then in March, I started this upsurge spin. So I had 8 ounces of fiber that went out that became these skeins. So 8 ounces out in March. Now in April, Joe also, in addition to the yarn, he brought home this braid of roving from Ohana Fiber Mill. It is undyed, and I can't wait to make something with it. So that is 4 ounces that came in April. That's it. And nothing went out in April. So that's really easy peasy. I had nothing in March, 8 ounces out, 4 ounces in April, and nothing out. Bing, bang, boom. Let's talk numbers. I have brought in 24.5 skeins of yarn and removed 35 skeins of yarn from my stash so far in 2025. That means that I currently have 66.5 skeins of yarn in my stash, totaling 6,571 grams and 20,418 yards. So that's where we are with yarn. I feel fine. I feel okay with it. There's definitely some stuff up here in the yarn closet that I'm kind of itching to get to. I have a 6 skein project on deck that I really, no, 9. It's a 9 skein project on deck that I really, really want to get to. And I'm really excited about working on it. It's not just that I want to get those skeins out of my stash. Like, I really want to work on it. So I'm excited for that. I'm hoping that that will happen in our next 2-month period because it's for a winter design. So I need to get going on it. But yeah, I'm feeling good with yarn. With fiber, as a reminder, I started with 45.3 ounces. I have brought in 48.4 ounces. I brought in more yarn than I even started with this year, but I've also removed 31.4 ounces. So we had some big moves happening in the fiber space in January and February. Not much happened these past 2 months. So I currently have 62.3 ounces of fiber remaining in my stash. And, oh, this is my nitty naughty that Joe made for me. How many things did I just bump? You stay there. So I have a lot of fiber. And I'm probably going to end up with more fiber coming in because I like to process raw wool, and I have several fleeces that need to be processed, and I have a couple that are already in the middle of being processed. So once they are carded and made into bats or whatever I'm going to use to spin, they will count as fiber in my stash. But then, you know, they'll also be counted when I spin them too as fiber out of stash. So, you know, it all balances out. All right, that's where we're at for stash this month, or these 2 months. Let me know how you're doing on your stash journey if you're on one. If you aren't, that's fine too. Just let me know, does your stash make you happy? What feelings does it give you? And I will link my entire stash tracking journey if you're interested to see all the highs and lows and ups and downs and everywhere we have gone along the way. And until next time, take care of you, and I will see you later. Bye.